Welcome to November, everyone, and the USD 393 Eagle Update. Once again, we want to thank Eagle Communications for coming out to Solomon Schools and bringing you a little bit about what's happening here at Solomon. Today is a special day. We have a guest with us in the house, and we are very fortunate to have him coming out and presenting to us and having the opportunity for our kids to go through the Uncommon Leader program. This year, as we started to look at things that we needed to address with our school, and as all schools in Kansas, social emotional learning is probably a buzzword that you've heard. It's always been around. It's probably being addressed for the first time in many, many years and being looked at, because it's not just about the academic part of learning that needs to take place, but also the social part of learning, as well as the emotional side of learning. How do we adjust? How do we deal with those issues? And so we decided to put together, I've had the opportunity to be around Joe for many, many years and his leadership throughout the state of Kansas. And one of the things that I got connected with Joe was through the athletic side of it. And I talked to Joe and I said, well, can we bring it out to just everyone? It doesn't have to be an athlete, it can be anyone, and how do we go about it? So you're going to get a chance to meet some of our uncommon leaders in a little bit, and we'll talk about how we selected them. But with us today is Joe Coles, and Joe has been a teacher, a coach, a counselor, a speaker on leadership and many other things, of course. Yes. So Joe, welcome. And you might tell us a little bit about how this all started.
Okay, awesome. Thank you. I'm very fortunate. We started this with a program called Rachel's Challenge. Rachel was the first student murdered at Columbine in 1999, and we were working and doing a lot of anti-bullying programs and that throughout the United States, and they decided they wanted to start a program for athletes at that time, and so we wrote a program called the Uncommon Athlete, and then we partnered with the Cal Ripken Senior Foundation, and through time period they've let me take this on our area in our little world of Kansas and the Midwest, and now we call it the Uncommon Leader for Success. And it's for all students, and it's basically understanding what we've been doing in schools for a long time, but being more intentional about the teaching of social emotional learning. We say to be an uncommon leader, you have to pay a price. And there's no such thing as a free lunch. And what that price stands for, it's an acronym, but it stands for perseverance, the P in price, building relationships, being intentional in what you do, creating the right culture. And your students here in our first time around, we talked about the culture here at Solomon. And culture gets misunderstood a lot because we think a culture is the past, but we're talking about what the culture of the present is. When somebody walks into your school, do they see it as a bright, shiny school, dark, dreary school? And I've had the opportunity to come in here many times, so I knew what I was getting into. And they do so many things really cool and very positive here, but it's one of those things that culture can slip if you're not careful, and that's why we're being very proactive in that. And then the last in price, the E is empathy, and teaching empathy with our kids. And this is a student-led process. That's why we're working with these kids, where they go out and work with other kids in the school, and it's a win-win when it's student-led.
Awesome. So as you've traveled the state, and we're very fortunate to have you come here to Solomon, but what are maybe some of the things that you've taken away from, whether it was the Northwest to the Southeast and everything in between, what were maybe some of the things that are very common to all schools in Kansas?
Right. That's a great question. And because I've been in most of the schools in the state of Kansas. I've been doing this for about 20 years, and it just keeps growing. There's similar situations everywhere we go. You know, we talk about bullying, we talk about vaping, we talk about all of these social issues. Well, in our eyes and what we see, it comes down to basically one thing: loneliness. When a kid is alone and they don't feel like they have a friend in school, the first people that approach them, they're probably going to latch onto them and they're going to do what they do. Well, unfortunately, in our schools around, what they do is the people that are recruiting these kids that are lonely are the people that are making poor decisions. And because they're always looking for somebody to make poor decisions with them. When I was a school administrator, I never saw a kid that wanted to get in trouble by themselves. They're always wanting to get in trouble with bring somebody else in. So one of our purposes of the Uncommon Leader is to get kids that are making good decisions to reach out to those kids that feel lonely, because lonely's toxic. Lonely is when I make tough decisions. So if we get our kids that are making good decisions, like these young people right here, they reach out to these kids, then it's a win-win.
Good. So as our kids go through the program, by the end of this year, in any of your programs throughout the state of Kansas, what do we hope to have these young leaders and future leaders, what do we hope that they have instilled in them?
Right. Very good question also. Well, we talk about it like our first meeting. We got them to step out of their comfort zone. It's not easy to get up in front of people and speak. It's not easy to go over and reach out to people and that. So they did a great job in our first meeting of just getting up, reaching out, meeting other people. We teach them how to make a first impression, how to shake hands, how to look people in the eye, and all of those. But you can't say, that's a mistake we've made in leadership sometimes. We say, go lead. Well, how do I lead? And some it comes a little easier than others, but most of us need to be taught. So our first meeting, we did a lot about how to reach out and how to do those things. Now we're going to be spending some time about, well, what do we need to do? What are some projects that we can be intentional about? What are some things that we can teach other students that we can be more intentional about, and how do we do it?
Well, good. Joe, any last thoughts? We're going to get the opportunity to sort of meet some of the students that are a part of the program. But any last words for the group out there?
Yes. Solomon's very blessed, and I get in a lot of schools, they're very blessed to have these young people that we get to work with today. And I say get to work with, it's an honor, because these people are so proactive. They want to make a difference in their school. And unfortunately, in our schools today, too many times, when somebody takes the leadership role, when they want to make the right decisions, we have naysayers in our school that are always wanting to pull them down. A term that these guys have heard me when I talked last time was, and I've heard it in almost every school I've trained this year, it's called try harder or a do-gooder. So when somebody wants to try hard and work hard, other kids in the school are trying to pull them down, or somebody's trying to do the right thing. Unfortunately, other kids are trying to pull them down. And there seems to be the loud voices in our schools in Kansas now. And these young people are willing to take that step and say, whoa, I'm going to go over, I'm going to lead, I'm going to do things. And even if the naysayers are trying to pull me down, I'm going to do it.
Yeah, very true.
Thank you.
You bet. Thank you, Joe. Stay right there. We'll be right back with some of our students going through the Uncommon Leader program.
Be sure to like Eagle Community Television's Facebook page. Just go to facebook.com/Eagle Community Television and click the like button to stay up to date with all of Eagle's locally produced programming. That's facebook.com/Eagle Community Television. Our communities connected. Miss a program on Eagle Community Television Channel 2? Visit EagleComTV.net. Choose from any of the programs on the homepage or search by keyword. Channel 2 program guide available. That's EagleComTV.net. Eagle Communications, our communities connected.
Okay, welcome back to the favorite session. No offense to Joe, but the favorite session is when you always get a chance to talk about the students here at Solomon. And so with me today, I have 4 students that are representing the whole group. And these 4, they were the first 4 that jumped up because everybody else was trying to get out of their seats really, really quick to come up and speak. Not necessarily true. So when you put a mic and a camera in front of them, not all of them are eager yet, but they'll be there by the end of the program. So these 4 are gracious enough to come up here and represent the whole group, and we're glad that we have the whole group. So how was this group selected? I've been asked that question several times from parents and from some community members already that maybe have heard about the program. And so a survey went out late last spring of give me some names of some people that you think should be a part of the Uncommon Leader program next year. And these people were selected. And some of them then after that, what we did is we said, we don't want it to be, as Joe alluded to, we didn't want it to be just athletes. We wanted it to be people who could lead, because one of my favorite sayings from the Kansas School Boards Association, the KASB, Kansas Association of School Boards, sorry about that. One of the things a great quote that they have is lead where you are. Okay, and I think that's so important because it doesn't matter where you're at, you need to lead where you're at. So whether it is as a cheerleader, we have a cheerleader up here, we have a volleyball player, we have a football player, and we have a junior high football player getting ready to go into basketball season. And all these, though, not only are they athletes maybe right now, but they also lead in the other circles that they might be a part of. And so that's so important because out here, wish you could meet all of them right now, but they're not just athletes. They are leaders within their own groups, within their own circle of friends. When they go out into our community, they're leaders. And one of the great things about Solomon is the fact that we're a community that comes together, meaning that they may not all be here at Solomon. We have out-of-district people who come here to go to school because this is where they choose to go to school, but then they go out and lead in their other circles. And it might be in other towns where they come from to go to school, but they come to school here. So that's the thing that I'm excited about and excited to bring the program. And the last thing before we get a chance to listen to them, which is so much more important, is the fact that this program is something that we hope to continue. We hope that our 7th graders who are sitting up here in the front row, that our 7th graders, when they get through, every 7th grade kid will go through this program. It's not just going to be the same one. So next year, maybe 1 or 2 to help go through the process, but we hope that it's all new faces. And so then by the time you graduate, after 6 years of having the program, every 7th grader has gone through the Uncommon Leader program. And then hopefully that has an impact for future generations as they become community leaders at wherever they may be. And we hope it's back here at Solomon. So, with that being said, let's learn a little bit about the program from their eyes because that's really what's important. So the very first question, Tyler, is so far, what have you learned or maybe what's been an impact of the program for you?
Well, I learned how to come out of my comfort zone with the activities that we did and meet new people.
Okay. And Tyler, one of the first things that sticks out with me is one of your first comments. And you want to share with everybody what that comment was.
Why was I here?
Why was I selected? And unfortunately, that's the reason why he is selected, though, because he didn't feel like he should be here. Tyler should be here. Every kid should be here because every kid is going through these situations. Every kid can be a leader. Sometimes, as Joe alluded to in the first segment, is that we just have to know how to lead. And I would say, as a senior, you have definitely come out of your comfort zone this year. You've helped lead the football team. And regardless of what the record might be, that was a successful year. You understand. And so for all of them, it doesn't matter. You led and you were a part of leading a group for a year. So what other things maybe are a takeaway? Anything you'd like to add to that? And it's okay if you don't. I'm putting you on the spot.
No.
Okay. All right. So second question, what are some of the activities that maybe, Joe's come out once, this is the second time he's out here with the group, and then we've met 3 other times, I think, 2 other times, 2 or 3 other times so far. And we try to meet monthly. So what are some of the things, Reagan, that maybe you've had to do?
A couple weeks ago, we did this thing called a Mix It Up lunch. It wasn't just for the Uncommon Leaders or anything, but anyways, you walk into the lunchroom and usually you sit by your friends, like sit whoever you sit with every day. And then one day we just get this number and you're like, okay, I sit at this table. So you sit at whatever table you're assigned to with people of all like classes, like you don't really talk to, like, and then you then figure out like, what do I say? Like, what am I supposed to say to these people? What do I talk about? Well, then you get little slips of paper that have like prompts to like start a conversation, and then it just keeps the conversation going. For me personally, I thought it was a really good idea because you just got to talk to people you've never talked to or just people you haven't talked to in a while, and I thought it was a really good experience for everybody.
That's awesome because of the simple fact that we have 93 in our high school, which is not very many. We have 140 in our junior high. And you would think that we all know each other, we all know who we are, but we don't necessarily talk to everybody. Can you imagine if you were at a school that had 500 in the high school and how difficult that is? So that's something that you can hopefully use and take with you a little bit. And maybe not have to be prompted next time, maybe just get up and go sit somewhere. So that's good. Ashley, what's some other things that we've done in the program so far this year that have maybe had to force you out of your comfort zone?
So every week, each of our grades, we have a door to go, or a day that we go open the doors for everybody. And so we do it Mondays and Fridays. And on Fridays, we usually have football games. So it was like a really good thing for all of us to go out and like see everybody's faces, and we would go to the elementary too, and it's just nice to see all the elementary kids, and they're so happy to see the high schoolers and the high schoolers being leaders, and they can look up to us, and yeah.
You can sense and feel the pride that the younger kids have because you're a part of their day. There's no doubt. And then which in return, as we talked about many times, is that anytime we can make an impact on a kid's life or someone else, in elementary school, it also makes us feel pretty good too. Yeah, no doubt about it. Anything else about the program? No? Okay. That's okay. That's all right. We'll pass it down. Last question, unless anybody else has any comments and you're thinking about it. So last question, Spencer, to you would be, for junior high, these three are in high school. What is something that in junior high maybe you have noticed an impact or things that have changed maybe down there? And what's maybe unusual for the junior high as compared to the high school? Any differences there?
Some of the differences I think would be, I think we're really close. I mean, as Solomon being as small as we are, we're all family. We all know each other. But down in the middle school, we seem to have like a bond where like we all want something about each other. And the high school being, the high school being older kids, they might not talk to kids.
So sort of like what Reagan was alluding to, she needed the numbers to get the prompts to change. Because as you get older, you sort of go in your own directions. And so it's a lot easier when you're in junior high to maybe know where they're at. Our biggest class right now in the school is our fifth graders, and the fifth grade here at Solomon is a part of the junior high. And this group, we talked about it, is the fact that there's 38, and that might not seem very big to some people. There's 38 in one class, and that's large compared to most of them. They're usually in the mid-20s, maybe even a little lower. But what did we talk about with the junior high is one of the challenges from a fifth grade becoming a part of the big middle school. What was one of the challenges that we presented to the junior high?
One of the challenges was we go meet a new kid, maybe a few kids every week. That way they feel welcome down in middle school. Because as a fifth grader, you could be nervous meeting new people older than you. Like if you're an eighth grader gonna go be a freshman, you're probably gonna be nervous meeting those seniors. And so those seniors could most likely welcome the freshmen, and that's what the eighth graders are going to be, seventh and eighth graders are going to be trying to do to the fifth graders.
Right, sort of like you being up here with these three seniors right now, a little uncomfortable. You're out of your comfort zone.
A little bit.
But the other thing is that at least you have the eighth grade maturity, whereas those fifth graders are coming from elementary school. So kudos to our seventh and eighth graders for welcoming that new group up to the junior high. That's a very scary time for a lot of them, and even for parents. My baby's going from fourth grade to fifth grade. The fifth graders love it. They're excited about it. They get lockers and everything. They're so excited they get lockers finally, but yet it's still scary. So the Uncommon Leader has allowed those fifth graders to feel welcomed. Some other things just to let you know that we have tasked them with is talking about those that have had a positive impact in their lives and saying thanks and appreciating them and showing gratitude for it. So, and not only that, but it could also be a teacher, it could be a friend who's maybe reached out, and at times, sometimes we don't take the opportunity to show our thanks and to show our appreciation. And so we did have that, charged this group with the task of doing that and meeting with their accountability partners on a weekly basis. So each and every person in this group has had an accountability partner, and we're supposed to meet with them on a weekly basis. I would be lying to you if I said that they have met every single week, all the time, and you can see by the smiles and you can hear the snickers in the crowd here that might not have always happened. But as we told them, you get out of this program what you put into the program. So we hope that maybe it starts to wear on them month after month, and eventually they will understand that they are having a positive impact not only on themselves but also on our school and our culture. So we're so excited about it. Hopefully you've seen some of the excitement from our kids. Obviously from Joe, his enthusiasm is definitely contagious, and one that we're excited to have him out as often as he's been out. Every time we look forward to having him out and the things that he brings to our school. So hopefully you've had an opportunity to get a glimpse of what's happening here at Solomon. excited about this opportunity, not only for this group, but also for future groups and for years to come. That's it for this month. We'll see you in December. Hard to imagine it's already going to be December next month, but we wish you a safe and happy Thanksgiving. And until next time, we'll see you.